Hey there! You've made it to the last day of the Flourishing Master Trainings. I'll be sharing with you this system called the oval mapper that I used when I was stuck doing the 16 letters of variations. I realized if I don't share this with you, you'll end up memorizing every single style, which will limit your creative capability. And I don't want that. My goal is that so you can expand your own possibility and add more variations to your own letter collections. Okay, let's learn together and jump right in. How exactly are we going to create our own styles and variations? It's by combining different oval size, directions, the placement, and the angle. So grab your pencil and calligraphy pens, or if you want to stick with a pencil throughout this whole exercise, is fine too. As for me, I'll just use this pencil because it's just less intimidating, and our goal here is to build our muscle memory and then learn how to create different styles. So let's start from the very bottom. Draw a lightly drawn oval, and the second one very lightly, and the third one also very lightly, because we're going to trace them after this. So draw them lightly. We're going to use them as draft and guideline. What you wanna do next is to give them shades, and as usual, when you go downwards, it will be shades, and when you go upwards, it will be a hairline. For our first set of oval, our direction will be clockwise. So that means let's start from here. You can still use your pencil or you can switch to calligraphy pen. It's up to you. Downwards, give the shades, and then up the hairline. And you don't need to exactly follow your draft because it's just the guideline. And start from slightly above the oval. Give them shades, and then up. Again, slightly bigger, same technique. And this one too, give it a shade when you go downwards and a hairline when you go upstroke. And then the third one and the last one, you don't have to shade it every time. Remember our building blocks of flourishing? It really depends on your sketching later, because whenever the lines are crossing to each other is thick and thick, you want to avoid that at all cost. Whenever it's just thin and thin or thin and thick, then they will be fine. So you don't have to give shading every time. Next, we want to draw our second set of ovals. This time will be a different direction. So let's start from the bottom, draw a tiny oval, and then slightly larger, a larger one, and then another one that occupies 4 bars, and then the last one is the whole bar. This is just a simple exercise so we can get used to different sizes of ovals, so we can create different variations. And this time the direction will be counterclockwise. So what you want to start from is right here, slightly below, and let's draw an upstroke and then downstroke. Draw another upstroke and downstroke. Upstroke and downstroke. Upstroke and downstroke. That's for our vertical ovals. Now let's move on to making horizontal oval. Start by lightly draw a tiny horizontal oval right here, and then another horizontal oval that occupies 2 bars, and then 3 bars, slightly larger, and then the last one is this large. And this time, let's go into the counterclockwise direction. So let's start from here, and whenever you go to the left, because it's slightly, you give slight pressure, then there will be shading here. Because you will give pressure to the left, that means this area later will be shading. Because you give pressures when you right to the left, there will be shading over here. And then when you go up, it will be another hairline. So let's start from the right bottom and then give it shape, and then up. Another one, give it shades, and then up. This horizontal oval is really good when you have your major skulls that has a horizontal oval entrance. So you can play with a different size and you can find your own style. And then this is the large oval. Give it shading and then hairline. Let's draw our first capital stem. And I want the first style to be simple, just very simple. What I would like to do is to draw an oval right here. You can still use a pencil. I just changed the color to a colored pencil so you can see the difference. And then after that, with your pencil or calligraphy pen, you can trace it up and then stop right here, or trace it up. You can stop right here, or you can stop at the top right here. And that's 3 different styles already. Let's try it. When you draw the oval first, it is much easier, right? Because you can maintain your shape oval. And then the second example is still keeping it simple. But what happens if we put 2 ovals at the left? Let's see. So draw our first oval here, touching the capital stem loop. And then draw another oval at the same height. And what you want to take notice is that this part should be even spacing. And then after that, trace it. You can stop right here. Still with the capital stem loop. And this time we want to have still 2 ovals, but this part will be smaller than the first oval. So let's see how it goes. Don't be afraid to experiment and make it smaller, but I want to make sure that this part should be even. That means I'll draw this part first to make it even, and then an oval. Let's see how it turns out. this part should be even, just like the one before. Another example, but this one I want to have it a little bolder. So that means maybe because we have 2 ovals here, we want to try adding 1 more oval. So total will be 3. Let's see. Draw another capital stem. Stop right here. And then draw your oval. Again, I'm using colored pencil so you can see the difference, but you can still use your pencil and draw it very lightly. And draw another one. Make sure that this part is even. And then, what about if we put a horizontal oval? Like that. Let's see what happened. Trace it lightly up. You can put pressure here. Let's evaluate this style. I don't particularly like this style because it feels heavy at the bottom right here, and I think it will feel better if this part will be lifted up a bit. Let's try again. Create the capital stem. And then still with your pencil, draw the oval close to the capital stem. And then since the last one is heavy at the bottom part, let's make it slightly above, right here. And then draw the inner circle first because we want to make sure that this part is even. And after that, we can create our oval. And then our third oval, right there. This oval mapping system helps us to prevent the hot spots. So make sure whenever you see these intersecting lines, they are not too close to each other and still have some space inside it. So let's trace them. So it's going up, give shading, out, and like that. Again, these ovals are just guidelines for you or drafts, so you don't have to follow exactly the guide that you draw, because you always want to follow your flow that is built when you do the drills. If this style is too dramatic for you, then with the same oval placement, we can make it simpler. Like this, the ovals, the first oval, and then the second oval. This is not even, so I'm trying to make it slightly more even. And then the third oval. And so instead of going all the way down, we can stop right here or right here. So let's see. Up, down, and stop. So more variation for you. Let's draw another capital stem. Right now I want to draw another oval right there, and then another oval. I start from this side because I want to make sure that that part is even, this part is even, and then I want to put the horizontal oval rather than going downwards like this. I want to have the horizontal oval sit on top of the X height, on the baseline, I mean. So I'll draw an oval, I'll extend to the back, and like that. So trace it lightly, creating hairlines, and then shading, follow that horizontal one, and stop. There are just so many variations that you can create. So for this example, I create this horizontal oval longer, and then you can also make it smaller. See that you can create so many different styles of just this capital stem. And imagine if you can create lots of different styles for your words, for your letters, and the possibilities are endless. You can just play with the size of the ovals, the placement, and the angle. Like as for this on top of the baseline, and this one is going downwards, and also the size of the oval, it can be similar to each other, or you can play with the smaller size of the oval like this example. So the possibilities are really endless for you. Just keep trying, keep playing with it. Don't be afraid to try. If you don't like a style, evaluate why and then create another one, just like the example right here. It's too heavy at the bottom, and then you feel like you want to fix it by going slightly upwards, and then fix that. Right now we want to create different styles of capital A flourishing. Let's say we want to create 3 different styles, and the first one is simple, second is bold, and the third one is dramatic. Let's start by creating the capital stem first. And then after that, create the ovals. The vertical oval. Don't forget it's slanted, parallel to the slant. And also, since it's just simple and airy, I want to have the second oval smaller than the first one. So it will be something like this. Trace it lightly because it's upstroke, and then down, and then up. And then add the other stem of the capital A. Slightly give pressure and give lots of pressure there. And then for the stroke, there can be 2 options here. First one is just to have the S curve, or if you want to keep it formal, we can start the crossing from this point, up, make a loop, point, and then up again. Maybe we could do formal, up, down, and up. Now it doesn't look simple and airy to me. So instead, I'll create another one. Now that feels better because it's much simpler and less formal. Or actually, if I can start the S curve from the loops, I think it will look better. And as for the second style, which is bold, I want to have more ovals than the simple style. So let's start by creating our capital stem and then our oval. And then I want to have the second oval right here. I draw from this side first because I want to make sure that this part is even. And then after that, I want to have a horizontal oval right here. And I'll start from this side, going around, and then come back. And making sure that this has space, so it will not be too constricted. Now let's continue by tracing it up, down, and stop right here. I don't actually really like this shape, so I'm just going to redo it because it's not that oval. So yeah, that will do. It's good if we practice with a pencil because we can correct things without the need to feel intimidated or starting over again. And then since I want to have flourishing right here, I would want to have this capital stem, this stem slightly curved at the bottom. And then after that, I want to have the flourishing maybe right here, just below the words. Maybe not exactly at the baseline, but slightly below, so it will give some extra spacing from the words to the flourishing. And now let's trace it, extend it, going around, and then stop intentionally. Picture that there's a small oval. And then as for the crossing, I think I want to make it simple, so I'll just draw an S curve from here and there. And I want to close the top. So this is my interpretation of capital A flourishing in bold style. You don't need to exactly to follow the same style as me. You can create your own interpretation, your own styling, as long as you remember the building blocks, the rules, and it should be fine. So the last style is dramatic but still looking graceful. So let's see what we can do. We have our capital stem here. And then add our first oval. And then our second oval. I start from here because I want to have this part even. And then after that, I want to have another oval, horizontal oval. And now let's trace it. Going up, down, going over, stop right here, and we can add tail. And for this other side, draw a slightly curve at the bottom stem. Add an oval, horizontal oval right here. Actually, it should be slightly below the baseline because I want to have extra space between the words and the flourishing. See, there's a space here. And then trace it. Again, trace it. Going over. Add shading if you want and stop right there. And then for the crossing, since I want to make this crossing a part of the flourishing, let's draw a large oval that cross all the lines. So maybe like that. And then extend the stem. It's okay if you just go slightly over and around. So this is my interpretation of dramatic capital A flourishing, and I hope from all these few examples you can create your own styles for the rest of the letters or even your words. And these techniques can be applied to lowercase, entrance, ending, or even T-stroke flourishing. That's it. I hope you have fun. Yay, we've reached to the end of our trainings. Let's recap of what we have learned so far. So first day we learned about the building blocks, which are the keeping the ovals, 60 degrees, balance, and possible hotspots. On the second day, we learned about the 5 places to flourish, different styles and looks. And also the third day, we learned about the flourishing drills. And the last day, which is today, I've shared with you the system that I use so that you can create your own styles. Thank you so much for joining in these 4 days of training. I hope to see your beautiful flourishes. Don't forget to tag me, the Irene Inspiration, and use the hashtags Let's Flourish with Irene. If you need an extra step-by-step guidance to how to use this system, I have a course for you, and it's called the Uppercase Flourishing Formula course. It's a mini course, and I already sent you the further information to your email, so grab your special offer and bonuses. Okay, that's the end of our training, and I'll see you. Bye for now.